Hello and welcome to Miss Bailey's Daily Dose. Today we are going to be learning to describe a spooky setting. So our learn objective is to learn to describe a spooky setting. Our skills are going to be to look at a haunted house setting, because some children might not have seen it before, and use adjectives to describe. We're going to be using our senses, our sight, our hearing, our smell, and what we can feel or touch when we're looking at describing that haunted house. And then we're going to be able to use full sentences to describe the haunted house setting. So take a few moments just to have a little look first. I'm going to make a mind map up here, and you can see whether you can do it at home, of any adjectives you could use to describe the haunted house. So have a look at where it is, what you can see, how you would describe it. So those adjectives that we looked at from my previous lesson when we were describing a woolly mammoth, what adjectives are we going to use here for this spooky haunted house? So take a few moments, and I'm just going to write some up here from what I can see. So I'm having a little look at the house, and I think it's quite isolated. Isolated means that it's on its own. So I can't see anything else around this house apart from those really creepy trees. That comes on to another adjective. It looks quite creepy. It looks like I wouldn't want to go in there. So creepy would be a really nice adjective. To me, it looks like quite a scary place or an eerie place. It's got an eeriness about it. So we could have eerie. We could have frightening. Or frightful. It looks quite old to me as well. So from the style of it, it's quite gothic. So we could have gothic. We could have old. We could have, even better, we could have ancient. So it's really old. And I've put some of the ones on here. So I've put scary, haunted. So maybe there's some ghosts in there. So I might use haunted as well. And all these adjectives are going to help us to describe this mansion. Horrific, strange. I know that if I went down my street, I definitely wouldn't see a house that looks like that around it. So it is a strange house. It's something that you might not have seen before. Haunted. Fantastic. So once you've had a look at looking at those adjectives, now we're going to be thinking about what we can see, what we can smell, what we could feel, what we could hear if we were going into that haunted house. So we've got to pretend that we're a person that at the minute is at the gate just before this haunted house. And we're going to imagine ourselves walking up the path, opening the door to the haunted house. And as we're going up that path, we're thinking about what we can hear, what we can smell as we go up to the door, what we can smell as we open the door, what we can see, how we're feeling inside. Is our heart beating or trembling really fast? Are our knees knocking together? Are our teeth chattering? So thinking about those things, because we're going to pretend that we've gone into that house. So we've got some eerie music to get us in the mood. While you're looking at these pictures, have a think about what you can see, what you can hear, what you can feel, and what you might be able to smell. So here's another haunted-like house. So you can see here that some of the windows are broken, that the grass is old and dead and overgrown. You might be able to hear the trees whistling or the wind blowing. You might be able to hear birds in the nests. Another haunted-like house. You might be able to hear thunder and lightning in the sky. You might be able to smell or feel rain dripping down your face if the weather was raining. You might be able to smell the essence of the leaves as the wind is blowing them. You can see here we've got broken windows, things we can see. It's dirty. Again, broken, it's boarded up. And this might be inside that haunted house. So we've got this beautiful staircase, we've got chandeliers, we've got candles, we've got lights. It might be dusty. The carpet looks like it's barely been cleaned for years and years. We've got this big clock and strange statues and paintings on the walls. You You might be able to smell damp, because maybe people haven't been in that haunted house for such a long while that you can smell that, and the dust going up your nostrils, all the burning of the candles you might be able to smell. This might be one of the rooms, maybe you can hear the piano playing but no one's there. Maybe you can see these old paintings moving somehow on their own. You might be able to smell the fire, and you can see that lovely fireplace, the velvet cushions, the old sofa, like the musty smell. And inside the bedroom, the lovely 4-poster bed, the curtains, what can you see on the floor? It's a wooden floor. You've got some paintings, some pictures, the lights are on. Maybe you can see them flashing on, off when you're in there. What can you see outside? Maybe as you're walking through the gate, can you hear or can you see these blackbirds waiting, or vultures, or what other things can you hear? Are there rats scuttling on the floor? Can you see them? Can you hear them? You can see here there's quite an eerie tree. It's quite overgrown. Is that swaying in the wind? Can you hear the branches? Can you hear the leaves? And this large gate. That might be the gate that you go through before you get there. Is that the gate that stops you getting out once you're in? Is it closed? Is it locked? And then we've got the graveyard. Who's there? Is it people from the house? Or is it just this haunted mansion with a graveyard next to it, and that's why it's haunted? Because the ghosts of these people are haunting it. So, lots of pictures. What we're going to do now, and what you can have a little look at doing at home, is saying what you could see. So if you imagine that you've gone into that haunted mansion, so this one here, and inside you've seen some of the things that you saw in the previous pictures. First of all, you're just going to list what you could see. So, for example, I can see broken windows. I can see paintings or picture frames on the walls. I can see a staircase as I go in. I can see overgrown grass or an overgrown garden. I could see those things. You might put your 4-poster bed. You can see dust. You can see cobwebs. And you can go on and on and on. So just things you can see. Then you're thinking about what things you could hear. So as you're walking up, are those blackbirds singing or chirping or squawking? So I might put, I can hear as I'm walking up, blackbirds squawking. It's barely quite right. Sorry guys. So blackbirds squawking. I might be able to hear the wind blowing. So the wind. I can hear thunder. Maybe some lightning as well. I might be able to hear the door creak as I go inside. So I might be able to hear the door creaking. Like I said, it might be that that piano that was in one of the rooms is playing maybe 1 or 2 of those notes. So it might be a piano. I might hear some big bangs coming from upstairs. Maybe as I'm looking around the downstairs of the haunted mansion, I hear a bang, which gets me really scared and really worried about who else is in that house with me. So think about what you can hear. Then we've got what we can feel, and this might be something that as you're walking up the steps, you're saying what you could physically feel on your hands or on your skin, but it also might be about what you can feel inside. So for example, on the door handle, it might feel cold. So it might be a cold or a rusty door handle. And when something's rusty, usually when you feel it, it's got that sort of metallic feeling to it, and you'll know it when you've felt it before, so that might be something that you want to have a look at. You might be able to feel water spitting on your face from the rain. So water and face. You might be able to feel your heart racing. So heart racing. And with that, when you're scared, especially, I know when I'm scared, you might start feeling that your tummy's feeling a bit sicky. So you might feel sick. Your legs might start knocking together, or you might start shaking. So you might feel like your body's shaking. And I'll put legs and teeth. You might feel dust. So just like you can see dust, as you're walking up the staircase and using your hands on the banister, you might be able to feel that dust coming off in your hands. You might be able to feel cobwebs as you're going through one of the doors. There might be cobwebs all over it and you're walking through and getting it all over you. So you might be able to feel cobwebs. And then what can you smell? Now the smell is the hardest one, because we can imagine and look at pictures to give us an idea of what we can see. We can sort of imagine from the pictures what we can hear and what we might feel inside and what we're touching. But it's really hard thinking about the smells. So again, you want to think about the things like damp. Something that's old. Maybe you've got an old teddy, I know I definitely have, that's on the top of my wardrobe, that's been there for about 7 years and it's not been dusted, it's not been touched, it's horrible. So when I take it down, there's dust coming off it and I can smell that it smells damp and it smells old. Maybe it smells mouldy. So maybe there's something inside that house that you're smelling that has that horrible smell because no one's there anymore and something's going mouldy. Maybe some food, maybe you're opening up that fridge and there's a big jug of milk that's completely mouldy, basically turned to cheese. So you're smelling those horrible things. So we've got damp, we've got old, we've got mouldy. Again, you might be smelling, before you even go into the house, the essence of the leaves. So you might smell the leaves or the trees. You might smell when you go in something cooking. Maybe there's someone in the house. Maybe there is someone cooking something and you can smell it. So it might be that you smell something cooking. So we just had a little look at our senses when we're looking at our haunted house and haunted mansion picture. And we've had a look at what we'd hear, what we might smell, what we might feel like. Now, we're going to see today whether we can write almost like a story, but we're going to be in that story. So we're imagining that we are going into that haunted house for the first time on our own, or you could be with some friends, it's completely up to you. And we're going to be using all of these things and including what we can see, what we can hear, what we can feel, and what we can smell, and using that in our descriptions. We're going to use a lot of these adjectives that we looked at earlier to describe what the house looks like, because we want to add that extra detail and add suspense to make it scary for you as well. But we've got to make sure that we use some of these things. So when we're writing this part of the story, we're going to write the beginning bit, which is when we're going into the house. So we're walking up through the gate. We can see that big door in front of us, so you can see it here. We're cautiously going into the house thinking, should I be here? Why aren't I at home watching telly, snuggled up with my mummy and daddy? What am I doing? During that bit, we're going to be going inside the house, so opening that creaky door, stepping inside, and we're going to be describing what we can see. What can we see in front of us, what we can hear, what we can smell, what we can feel as we go in. You might describe going into a few of the rooms, like the kitchen, or the living space, or there might be a library downstairs. And then the middle bit is where we're going to be going up the stairs, so up that lovely big staircase that you saw in those pictures, and something happens, there's a problem that we face. So some of the ideas that I came up with for this spooky story is you might see a ghost. So it might be that as you're going up those stairs, you hear a bang, and you wonder what it is. you're not sure whether you can carry on going upstairs or whether you should turn around and run away. But you carry on up and you maybe go into one of the bedrooms, and as you're looking around that bedroom, maybe sitting on the bed, suddenly you see this ghost. And that's our problem that our character faces, that we face. You might see a vampire, so those bloodsuckers that try and suck your blood. Okay, you might see a spooky vampire, and that might be your problem. Or it might be a monster living in that haunted house. Or a witch. Okay, completely up to you what character you want that's going to be the problem for us. And then we need to think of a solution. So what's going to be the solution to this problem? So we've seen this ghost, and we need to make sure that that ghost doesn't hurt us. So we've got to come up with a solution. So is it that everything that's happened, seeing this ghost, being scared, you run out the house, you get away from it, and actually it's all a dream. You're asleep the whole time, and you were never at the haunted mansion in the first place? That could be a solution. Is it that you make friends with that ghost? That actually you sit on the bed, and when the ghost rises up through the bed, and you're scared at first, and maybe scream, "Ah!" that then you make friends with it, or friends with that vampire, or friends with that monster? Or is it that you've been able to capture that ghost and put it in a jar, or capture that monster, or capture that vampire and lock it up so it will never haunt anyone else again? You have got to decide. So, I have put a little thing together just so you can see that there's the beginning bit, the middle bit and the end bit. We know in the beginning, like I said, we are going to be talking about going into the house. And this is where all the description's going to come from. What can you see? What can you hear? What can you feel? What can you smell? The middle bit is when we go up the stairs. So I'll draw some stairs. And you meet... Oh, sorry guys, for some reason. So I had to put a lovely line through my word meet. There we go. And you meet the baddie. Or the bad character. And that's that vampire, that ghost, that monster that's going to scare you. And then at the end, you've got to decide. So do you lock it up? Do you make friends with it? Or is it all a dream? Or a nightmare, some people might say. And actually you wake up from your bed and you've realised you weren't there in the first place. You were in that dream. So, oh, there we go. This is one that I've started off, and this is just to give you a little bit of an example. So now, after this video, you can go and see whether you can create your own. I walk towards the crooked gate. So it's really important we're using these adjectives. So again, I'm thinking about before I even got to that haunted house. I'm not going to say, I went into the haunted house, it was haunted, I met a ghost. Because that's about 3 sentences that are really rubbish. So I need to try and show the reader rather than tell the reader. So I'm not going to say I went into the haunted house. You might say you opened the door and crept inside. So showing, not telling. I walked towards the crooked gate, full stop. My heart began to race like a cheetah. So again, I've got those similes that we were looking at in the previous one with the mammoths, saying how you're feeling. So I've said what I can see, I've said what I did, I walked towards the gate, I've seen that gate, and I've said my heart was racing like a cheetah, so I'm saying how I'm feeling. And usually when your heart's beating, it's because you're really, really excited, it's because you're in love, or it's because you're really, really scared. Should I go in? Again, I'm using different sentence types, putting those questions in. Speaking to myself, should I go in? Why am I here? What am I doing? I walked cautiously, using that adverb. How did I walk? I'm not going to walk quickly and cheerily into this haunted house because it's scary and eerie. I'm going to walk cautiously, looking behind me with every step. Every time I can hear a noise, I'm looking around, so cautiously or anxiously or slowly. Towards the old wooden door. Again, I'm saying what I've done, how I've done it using those adverbs, and what I've seen. I've seen the door. And it's old and wooden, so again, I've used those two adjectives. Expanded noun phrase there with the comma in. The sound of my knees knocking together could probably be heard for miles as I walked up the path. Again, I'm saying how I'm feeling and what my body's doing. So I'm saying my knees are knocking together because I'm so frightened and petrified as I'm walking towards the door and up the path. So I've put the sound of my knees are knocking. My hands began to shake as I turned the door handle and forcefully pushed the door open. So again, I'm using that adverb forcefully. I'm not just pushing it open. Yay, I'm in the haunted house. Okay, I've got to really screw that handle around and forcefully push it open. Maybe that door's not been open for years and years. It's a really heavy door. So I'm forcefully opening it. The creak it made was as loud as a shrieking cat. Again, I'm using that simile, as loud as a shrieking cat. And I'm saying about the creak, I'm saying what I can hear. So I can feel the door handle. I can push that door, so I'm saying what I can touch, what I can see. And then I'm saying what I can hear, so that creak of that door. So I walked towards the crooked gate. My heart began to race like a cheetah. Should I go in? I walked cautiously towards the old wooden door. The sound of my knees knocking together could probably be heard for miles as I walked up the path. My hands began to shake as I turned the door handle and forcefully pushed the door open. The creak it made was as loud as a shrieking cat. In front of me, comma, using those different sentence starters, stood a grand marble staircase. Again, I'm saying what I can see. Now I'm in the house. So that first paragraph is all about before I've even got into that house. I'm walking through the gate. You might need to push that gate open. Down the path, what can you hear? What can you see? Going up to that big door. Maybe looking back to see if anyone's there. Pushing that open. And you can see that I've done a lot of description just for that bit. The next paragraph is about when I'm actually in. So I'm looking around that house. So in front of me stood a grand marble staircase leading up to the upstairs. There were old pictures hanging on the walls and cobwebs everywhere. It was very dark and cold. I could see each breath I took. Again, I'm saying about how I'm feeling, so it's cold. I'm saying what I'm seeing, it's very dark. I can see the pictures on the wall. So I've said about old pictures. I've said about cobwebs, again, what I can see, what I might be able to feel as I'm touching it. I'm saying that I feel cold and it is very dark. I can see each breath. So that tells you, again, that it's a really cold, misty, eerie place. I stepped inside carefully, using another one of those adverbs, thinking about how you'd be moving as you went into that haunted mansion, as I was very scared of what might happen. The vicious wind blew the front door shut again. So I've gone in, I'm looking around, I can see the staircase, that door's still open, and suddenly that wind from outside, that thunder and that lightning and that horrible wind has shut the door and locked it behind me. So now I know I can't get back out yet. I'm stuck. And again, I've described the wind as vicious. And the room went pitch black. I let out a startled scream and then tensed every muscle in my body. Okay, when you're really, really scared or when it goes pitch black. I remember one time when the electric went out because there was a problem outside with our electric, and it went out, and I never forget, I was in the pitch black, in the shower, and every single muscle in my body just tensed up because I didn't know what was going on. I was soaking wet in the shower and it had gone pitch black and I didn't know what was going on, and I was on my own, so it's quite scary. So I've gone from going towards the house, going into the house. Now, the next bit would be about going up those stairs, hearing something, and maybe even seeing that ghost, that vampire, that something. Oh. So, I put for mine, suddenly, let me put my collar in, there was a loud bang from upstairs. I froze. Okay, I'm freezing because I'm so scared. Stuck to the spot in the dusty, bleak hallway. The noise was still echoing around the house when it happened again. Bang! My heart stopped and I could feel a cold sweat coat my brow, so my eyebrows. Hello? I squeaked. Who's there? There was no answer, just silence remained. So I've said, as I'm going up those stairs, I hear that bang. I'm frozen, so I'm on that staircase thinking, where's that noise come from? Who's in the house? What's going on? As I'm going up again, I hear another bang. My heart's racing, and then I'm asking, who's there? Come out wherever you are. I'm not scared, please. Leave me alone. And this is the bit where we're going to see whether we put right on. So, I've called it the haunted house, because it's all about haunted house. Again, you can see whether you can have a go at carrying on from my bit, and that's what I'm going to do now, rather than writing it out all again. So there was no answer, just silence remained. So I might start it with, I'm on that staircase, I've heard the bang, and I'm stood still, I'm frozen. And I'm thinking, do I turn back or do I carry on? And maybe my character's really brave and thinks, do you know what, it's probably nothing. It was probably the wind. The wind's blown the door, so it's probably just blown something upstairs. So I might start, I continued. I'm going to do it in quite big writing just so you can see. Walking. Up. And then I'm thinking about how I'm going to describe those stairs or the staircase. So I continued walking up that, I might say, old, comma, wooden, because that's what I'd used previous. I continued walking up the old wooden stairs. And then entered what looked like a child's bedroom. Now, because the bedroom belongs to the child, we're putting that possessive apostrophe in. And my full stop. So I continued walking up the old wooden stairs and then entered what looked like a child's bedroom. Now I'm going to say what I can see around that bedroom. And remember, this is the part where I'm going to see my ghost. So that's what I've decided in mind. My character is going to see a ghost. So entered what looked like a child's bedroom. Oh, I'm writing the same size. So there was a light blue duvet cover which was covered in dust. On the bed, and cuddly toys in the corner. Again, I'm just saying some of the things I could see as I went in. So I continued walking up the old wooden stairs and then entered what looked like a child's bedroom. There was a light blue duvet cover which was covered in dust on the bed and cuddly toys in the corner of the room. So you could have that bit of the room. I walked slowly So I walk slowly towards the window, and again I might describe that window, maybe it's broken. So I walk slowly towards the broken window. To find So I walk slowly towards the broken window to find that, so comma between, that had been the cause of the banging. And this is where I might think about the trees that are outside. Maybe actually the bang was a tree branch swinging in the wind, and it swung so hard that it's broken this window. So I walked slowly towards the broken window to find that had been the cause of the banging. An old tree branch had swung into the window so hard that it had shattered the glass. So again, all I've done at the minute is described. I haven't even got into the bit that I'm seeing the ghost yet. That's what I'm going to be doing now. So you can see how much description you can actually get out of this. So hard that it had shattered the glass. And then I can think about how I'm going to introduce that ghost bit. So, if I have a little look at what I've done so far, I continued walking up the old wooden stairs and then entered what looked like a child's bedroom. There was a light blue duvet cover which was covered in dust on the bed and cuddly toys in the corner. I walked slowly towards the broken window to find that had been the cause of the banging. An old tree branch had swung into it, and had swung into the window so hard that it shattered the glass. As I picked the glass up off the floor, I felt, and this is where you're going to be not seeing but feeling that vampire, that ghost, that monster behind you. So as I picked the glass up off the floor, I felt cold breath against my neck. My body shuddered. So that's almost the same as like shaking. I quickly turned around and saw something unbelievable. Now, if you wanted to, you could stop it there. What was it? ... and leave it on a cliffhanger. So then the reader is wanting to know more. Or you could carry this on now. So say what it was. Instead of saying it was a ghost, you might describe that it was this child from the child's bedroom, but that they had this mist around them, this glare, that they were floating. So you're saying that it was a ghost, but you're not saying it explicitly. You're not saying, I saw a ghost. You're saying that you saw this child that was floating that was badly wounded or badly hurt, who was crying, or you could hear the child crying, and that it looked like the ghost, but you're not actually saying it was a ghost, if that makes sense. So see whether you can carry this on now. You want to be thinking about rhetorical questions. So why am I here? Why are you like this? How did you get like this? What happened to you? Why have I done this? Why aren't I at home? You want to be using adjectives and adverbs. You want to be using your senses. So what can you see, what can you hear, what can you feel, what you can smell. And again, you want to be looking back at that middle, beginning and end. So going into the house. Now you're in the house in the middle, you've gone up the stairs and you see the thing. What's your ending going to be like? You might have suddenly or thankfully, if you look that ghost up, or thankfully it was a really kind ghost. The boy was really kind and he helped me get out the locked door from the front door and get home. So you might have suddenly, you might have thankfully, you might have then, and thinking about those sentence openers. So see whether now you can write your own description of the haunted house, and I'll leave you with that picture of that haunted house to remind you.